Trends. A show about what's new, what's hot in media, technology, fashion, and business. It is a flashlight on the sometimes hard trail to market success. Trends is a show for and about tastemakers. The world relies on trends to find new paths to innovation, to ingenuity, and to success.
Hi, welcome to Trends, a show on the entrepreneurial spirit. I'm your host, Friendship Cruz, and today we are interviewing dancer, choreographer, and master teacher Tony Tucker. Tony started training with Boston University Reach program at the age of 18 with a focus in hip-hop and Haitian folklore. Since then, he has branched out to many different forms of dance, such as ballet, crump, volley, folk, and so much more. 16 years ago, when I first met Tony, he was just starting out, but he was actually pretty good. Now he's a well-rounded performer and has toured New England performing and has performed for Tito Jackson. He's even choreographed music featuring artists such as Mano. So Tony, tell me, why 18? You know, you always hear of people starting off as toddlers and such. 18 seems pretty late. What happened?
For me especially, but I've heard for boys, it's usually that's the case. They usually start at around 18. But specifically for me, I went into high school and I started dancing, started taking the high school classes that were there, not fully trained yet.
Okay.
That's when I met my mentor, Erica G. Shorts.
Was she your greatest inspiration for dancing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I would definitely say that. And then she would always send me off to these dance camps. She's like, hey, you need to go do this, you need to go do that. And I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm just like, all right. I'm just like, she's Geppetto and I'm just Pinocchio, just following whatever string she's pulling. And then I went to a performance that she brought me to once again, and it was at the Wang Center. And I forget who was performing, but there was one specific guy, and I saw him. It was Origination, actually. It was some guy from Origination, yeah. And it was a light-skinned dude. And I was I really loved the way he was moving. And I was like, I can do that. And then I got back into class and I tried to do some more serious dancing. And I was like, I can't do that. Not yet, but then now I can actually do it.
Do you feel like you've mastered any particular style of dance?
Oof, nowhere near it.
Nowhere? No, not at all.
No, there's always the next step. There's always the next level.
So what techniques have you studied on your own and have, come into your own form?
A lot. I would say the main one would be voguing.
Oh.
Voguing, definitely. Well, voguing and crump.
Okay.
Because I predominantly started out with crump first, and then I went over to voguing, started reaching out in the sense of researching, essentially. And then once I got more knowledge, then I would apply it, and then I would go to jams or events, and then showcase and so on and so forth. So
okay.
yeah.
So with your research, do you ever use your environment to inspire your dance pieces?
Oh, always.
Yes.
Always. There's never a day that goes by and I'm always
thinking about something.
Yeah. My brain is always going, and I feel like that's one of my biggest problems, but it's really not a problem. I feel like it's a gift in itself because I'm always looking for the next thing, or how can I get better, or how can I improve, or what can help me improve, and so on and so forth.
Okay, great. Do you think that has inspired others when they watch you perform? Do you think that they get that?
I've learned that it does. There was a while that I was like, why am I even doing this? I'm not doing anything for anybody. But then I finally realized that not only my students, my younger students, but just little kids. Because I do love to teach little kids. They're so much fun, but they can get a little bit, but you just have to know how to deal with them. You have to take it in increments. But I definitely do it mainly for them, because especially when they see a male black dancer, even nowadays,
across
It's
sometimes.
still hard to come across, and I've like had to realize that myself. And I was like, really, like anytime like I go to like certain ballet classes, it would be like, you know, a lot of different cultures there, and then a few black people there essentially. So I'm like, I do it for the inner city kids,
Okay.
the more
Urban youth, you would say?
yeah, I would say more
Yeah.
urban youth essentially.
Yeah. So mentioning being a black dancer, black
Mhm.
male dancer, in this first piece that we're going to show, it's your tribute to Trayvon Martin. Do you usually use, you know, instances like that where, you know, there's a lot of things in the media about young black men being gunned down by police and, you know, other armed civilians? Do you use that a lot to inspire and create pieces, or to even send a message?
Yes, I mean that's like without say, especially for me. And that piece, Miss Erica Jew, she actually choreographed that piece, and she was very driven by the whole incident. And she was like, "Well, we need to do something." And I was like, "Well, I definitely feel you on this because we definitely do need to do something about it." And then she came to me with that song, and I was like, "Huh!" Like I've never heard this song before. I've never heard this artist before, but she always has like great music.
And what song was that?
Oh man, I would have to look it up. Yeah, I was like, can't put me, I don't know. But it's on the YouTube page with the video. So I think it was from maybe from an artist and from the UK, I think.
Okay.
But it was, yeah, I would use something like that as inspiration as well for the youth, essentially.
That's great. So we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll get more into Tony's world.
I hope that the world stops raining, stops turning its back on the young. See, nobody here is blameless. I hope that we can fix all that we've done. I really hope Martin can't see this. I hope that we...
Hi, welcome back to Frenchie Cruise on Trends. If you missed us before, we're sitting down with dancer, master teacher, Tony Tucker. We were just talking about Tony's background in dance. He started off with Haitian folklore and hip hop and branched out into many other forms of dancing. And we were just speaking about your inspirations and, you know, your wonderful piece, tribute to Trayvon Martin. Let's get into your crumb. This next piece shows you with a few guys in what I think is an empty lot with some lights. You guys were going at it. What was that all about?
That was actually under the I-93, right?
Okay.
Some ago.
Oh.
Yeah. I wanted the inspiration for that video was it was a New Year's video, and I just wanted to bring New Year's with some positive vibes. So I just got a couple of the guys that were in the crew at the moment, and I was like, hey, I saw this location when I was driving by. It had these lights, kind of empty, it looks kind of gutter, gritty. So I was like, we need to get in there.
Yeah.
And then I did the choreo for it that night before we shot it.
Okay.
And we went there because it was something simple, easy peasy. I knew that they could pick it up like this, and I was like, all right, let's do like a quick formation, and then we'll just freestyle.
So choreography comes to you just quickly, just like that.
I would say so.
It would be a lot harder.
For some, no, definitely. For some people, definitely. But I mean, I wasn't always like that. That was not always like that. It definitely takes some training to do that. And for me, I find it better to choreograph on spot rather than thinking up beforehand. Because I feel like anytime I do it beforehand, it's not as good or not as a good feeling, I would say.
You're not as happy with the results.
Yeah, I'm not as happy with the results.
Yes, you are there.
But there is a downside to choreographing on spot. So if you don't know the song as well, you might not know the counts that you want certain moves to be on.
Okay.
So that can be like a hindrance to the company or whoever you're teaching it to. Be like, well, you said it was like this, and now you're doing it like this type of deal.
Okay.
So I don't know. So yeah.
So do you ever forget some of your moves when you choreograph right on the spot. I can't even talk.
Oh yeah. My company's watching this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, but I don't do it as often as people would think. So
Okay.
I don't do it as often. No.
Let's hope not.
Oh, for my company's sake, I don't know. But yeah, no. But I find that's one of like my strongest traits as a choreographer. Like just going into a setting, like. But for that, I would have to know like the song that I want to choreograph to.
Okay.
And then I have like a concept or an idea of like how I want the choreography to go. And then I'm like, that's why it just like.
You pick it up really quickly. Okay. So now I want to kind of get into the styles of dancing that you do.
Mm-hmm.
We've listed a few, but how many do you actually know?
Oh jeez, I don't know. Let's see. I don't usually count, but let's see. So
Yeah, deep breath.
so let's start with let's start with modern.
Okay.
So well, there's different styles of modern.
Oh gosh.
So yeah.
So let's just do general.
So it's just modern.
Okay.
Modern dance. Contemporary.
Hip hop, of course.
Hip hop. There's different styles in hip hop as well.
Of course.
Let's say we're going. I dabbled in tap a little bit, not too much, but you know I can get around.
Move your feet, little happy feet movement going on. Okay, yeah.
Jazz.
Nice.
Haitian folklore, as you said earlier. I've done Bollywood.
Now wait, hold up. What was that like, and why did you even dabble into that? Like, what caught your attention?
Well, it was a studio that I started taking ballet at out in Braintree, Dance Studio Braintree.
Nice.
And then for a couple of their pieces, they did a Bollywood number, so that's where that was coming from. It's like, oh, I learned a lot. Bollywood is not as easy as it seems.
No.
It is ridiculous. But it was a great process.
Would you ever travel to India to do more of that, or even other parts of the world? Yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, there was a company that I danced with, a modern company that toured to India actually,
nice.
and they brought the tour over there. So yeah, that was pretty fun.
Awesome.
But yeah, what other styles? Jeez.
So we've got dance, modern, contemporary,
ballet,
hip hop, ballet, Haitian folklore.
Jazz.
Okay, there's way too many to count. So we're just gonna say that you're pretty well rounded.
Well, I try to be pretty well rounded.
Do you ever mix styles to make a piece? Like you just don't stick with the hip hop and stuff?
No. Yeah, no.
Put some
Like
hip hop and ballet in there.
And yeah, after I've really like got a good foundation in a lot of those styles, that's when I was like, all right, let's take from here, and mush it all together essentially, rather than just be like, all right, I'm gonna try something and it looks.
I don't know what this is, but okay.
So I'm not one of those people that like try to do that. So I like really try to get my foundation set so I can have a nice concrete setting, and then I'll build on top of that. So I like to mush.
What keeps you focused?
What keeps me focused?
Yes.
On dance?
Yes, to have dance as a career.
Oh.
What keeps you motivated, focused?
The love.
Love.
The love for dance, honestly. Yeah,
Oh, that's big.
I mean, you can hear this from a lot of people. And it honestly, it's so true. Like, you wake up, you think dance. You go out, you think dance. You listen to music, you think you can't stay still. You just like, oh. Like my mom used to say, she said I was always so fidgety when I was younger, and now I know why. Because I just can't stay still because I'm always a mover. I'm not just a dancer, I like to move. So
you always hear people say, I hear music in everything. Is that true for you too? Yeah.
I know, like there was a car just driving by, and I'm like, I don't like thinking what type of movement I could, do to that. Yeah, essentially. So I'm one of those dancers that I don't need a certain soundtrack. It can just be stillness.
Do you ever make your own soundtracks?
I have. I've dabbled. Once again, yeah, dabbled. That's the word for today. Dabbled.
Dabbled.
Yeah, no, I dabbled in creating a few soundtracks actually. Like
Nice.
my very first track was a crump track actually. Yeah, this was back in 2008.
Maybe we can get that from you.
My first one, I will give you that.
Was it good? Was it good?
I mean, for what it was back then, yes, because music has, well, especially with crump music, that has changed dramatically.
Okay.
So with the sound engines and like the engineering and sound production, yeah, it's changed a lot. So, but for what it was back then, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
What new kind of, there's always new styles of dances coming out and new techniques and stuff. What techniques are you working on now?
Well, I'm mainly focused on ballet in class at the moment. Yeah, I've been taking ballet consistently.
Nice.
A lot more. But other than ballet, well, like, because I really love contemporary ballet, so that's what I like to freestyle a lot too. But then I'll take the other styles and I'll use it. But you'll primarily see like the ballet training essentially.
Okay.
But I don't want to lose my roots. I don't want to lose like the rawness.
You want your swag to
Oh,
it,
like, ooh.
gangsta ballerino type thing going
I
on.
like a
Yeah.
Nah, definitely.
Two chains going on and stuff,
I
yeah.
feel like and hence, well, because I went to a crump session a while ago, because I kind of like veered away from it, hence why, like, so I can just do my all style streaming essentially.
Okay.
And when I went back, I was like, oh man, that was good. I knew that.
You felt it.
I felt it. And I was like, this is why I started out like this.
So this is like your own Save the Last Dance movie type of thing, but in real life.
But in real life.
But in real life.
This is like the real deal. But yeah, that's my real Save the Last Dance joint. So.
Well, there's so much more to get back to when we get back from this quick break, and we'll talk some more with Tony.
Today we're talking to people about learning and attention issues like ADHD and dyslexia.
October is Learning Disabilities, Dyslexia, and ADHD Awareness Month. We're inviting people to learn more about these invisible issues. So we built simulations so you can actually experience what it's like to be one of the 1 in 5 with learning and attention issues.
Hey, welcome back to Trends. We're sitting with Tony. If you've missed the first part of the interview, you definitely missed out. So, we currently spoke about him joining 3 other companies, dancing ballet. He's currently training in classical ballet and teaching, of course. You're now a master teacher.
Oh, I wouldn't say that just yet. I'm on my way.
You're on your way.
I'm on my way.
That is amazing. What we did not talk about was Street Hype, your very own hip hop dance company. Why the name Street Hype?
Good question. So when I was first coming up with the company, I wanted to base it off of the dancers, essentially.
Okay.
So I was like, I kind of want all my dancers, well, at the moment, yeah. I was like, I wanted all my dancers to like have some type of street in them. And then I was like, street, that's the first half. Because I knew I wanted like 2 separate names.
Right.
Or 2 different titles. So I was like, all right, well, street's definitely the first part, I feel that. And then the second half, I was like, how am I going to describe like the style or like the energy that they'll be able to put into it? So I was like, raw.
Street raw.
And I was like, street raw. I was like,
No.
nah.
It doesn't
I was
ring
like,
about.
amp.
Yeah.
I was like, street amp. Nah.
Sounds like a after school jam session.
Right?
Yeah.
I was like, no. And then my friend, she actually came up with the second half of it. She was like, what about hype? I was like, street hype. I was like,
Keep her around.
yeah, I was
Some
like, I
great
like that,
ideas.
right? I was like, I definitely like that. So shout out to you for that. You know who you are. Ooh.
Okay, go friend.
You know, but yeah, and she was actually a company member at the time as well. So that's how the name Street Hype came about.
Okay. So, how long have you been, since you've created Street Hype?
This year will actually be its 7th year.
7 years.
Coming up in September.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys do a
7
lot of
seasons.
shows and tours and stuff like that?
Over the 6, going on 7 years, we've done countless shows.
I love your math.
Yeah, we've done countless shows, but I must say I was really, really proud of us in, what was it, 2015, I think it was, or 16.
Okay.
We literally had about 2 to 3 shows every single month, starting from January up until December.
Wow.
And I was like, how did we do that? I don't know, but we literally just.
It's a great demand for street hype,
I was like, all right, guys, let's buckle down. Let's go. Let's just do it. Let's do it.
That's great.
Whatever
So-
I want to do.
Are all of your dancers professional dancers such as yourself, or does it
No,
differ?
a lot of them are still growing to be professional. Well, professional in the sense of getting paid for to dance. So I would say no.
Okay.
A lot of them aren't, but a lot of them are obviously really good dancers, hence why they're in the company. And then I also have my junior company called Street Punks.
Aww.
Yeah, so they're the babies, they're the aspiring professional dancers, so they train, they have their own separate training session first, and then the adult company comes in right after, so then they get to follow suit and then train with the adult company and get that experience as well.
What is the age range for your street punks?
It is from 8 to 18.
8 to 18.
8 to 18.
No babies in this class.
No little babies.
No little babies in this class.
Sometimes there are exceptions, depending on their maturity, because some kids definitely do mature faster than others.
Definitely.
And depending on their hunger. They just have to be really hungry. I'm not.
I hear that a lot in
this,
the arts.
Yeah, this program is not for babies in the sense of, oh, I'm gonna do a little two-step. No. We're gonna do some jumping jacks. We're gonna run until you pass out. Like, no, I'm gonna make you hurt, but you're gonna love it.
So how do you set the tone for them and other dancers after you or before you? Like, how do you stand out?
Oh, that's a heavy question. I just try to show up. Yeah, no, I just try to show up. Honestly, I try to show up to as many events that I possibly can, because everybody has a busy schedule. And it's just all about showing face. So I just try to show face, because it does go a long way. So I feel like for my babies, street punks essentially, I try to do that so that when they go, I'm like, oh, hey, who do you dance with? Like, oh, I dance with street punks. Like, oh, Tony, blah, 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 blah.
Okay, so getting your name out there and your face more prominent in the dance world.
Definitely.
I feel you.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's awesome. So we are getting close to that time where we actually have to say goodbye to Tony. Before we do, we just want to take a quick break.
Okay.
And then we'll come back.
Okay.
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
So we are closing out and wrapping up and gonna say goodbye, sadly. But before we let Tony go, let me just ask you just one last question. Can you tell us anything about your journey? If you were to do anything differently, what would you change?
What would I change? Honestly, I wouldn't change anything.
Really?
I wouldn't change anything.
Not a smidgen of anything.
No.
Not time.
No.
You love it all.
I do, because I feel like my story will be just as great in the future. Because if I were to change something there, my story wouldn't be as exciting or more realistic, I would say, for me.